At the start of Season 4, iRacing introduced the GT3 Regional Tours, 3 brand new racing series following the same format as the normal GT3 fixed series. Well, after gaining my first taste of GT3 racing at the Red Bull Ring, I thought it was only fair to start trying these series and see what unique benefits they might have to offer me. In this video, I'm going to show you my first races from the GT3 Americas Tour at Laguna, Seca, and these races quickly showed me that there are some unique benefits and key differences versus the main GT3 series. I have 3 key takeaways to share at the very end of this video, and I'd also love to hear from you in the comments what you think about the introduction of these regional series. Is this good or bad for iRacing GT3 players? Let's dive into race 1 and show you how I found it. So let's jump straight into race number 1. We have qualified in the middle of this 14 car field as we round the final corner and get the green light to get this 20-minute fixed setup race underway here at Laguna Seca. On the outside, we've got car number 13, Mercedes-Benz there, as we charge down towards turn number 2, the first hairpin corner here. And fortunately that Mercedes is unable to hang it around the outside through the hairpin, and we're going to get a nice clean exit and safely navigate this opening sector. Now, tricky on cold tyres at this track, and the Ferrari there, with a bit of assistance I think, does lose it out of turn number 3. So well, from holding on to our P7 at the start, we've been elevated up to position number 6 in this opening lap. Eyes forward for this opening lap though, because up ahead we've got door cards number 2 and 3 side by side heading around towards this very tricky kink here, turn number 6, and now up the hill towards the very famous corkscrew section of this racetrack. The Mustang there, he takes a big dive to the apex at the corkscrew. Car 2 has to dive out of the way to avoid contact. Now car 4 having a look up the inside as well, but the door is very much shut there by car 2, and all the while I'm sitting at the back trying to get heat into these tyres, not pushing it too hard, and now just trying to stay out of the way of these guys. A nice clean opening lap for me, and all could unfold in front, but safely navigating this opening lap, our first GT3 regional racing laps here. Now jumping ahead a few laps and things are certainly settling down. Bit of a moment for an Aston Martin behind there, and I am having a look at the back of car number 4, definitely finding myself with a bit of pace, looking left and right, seeing where an opportunity might be to get myself up into the top 5 of this GT3 race. Into the corkscrew section here at lap number 5, and I was getting a little bit more confident through here, and you see the pace at 1 minute 21.6, my best lap so far, already a good 6-7 tenths faster than what we managed in qualifying, so I was already starting to find a bit of pace. Now a very odd moment there coming through turn 10, it does move me up to position number 5, and in the replay we can see why. That Porsche hitting the inside curb, and it didn't actually show during the race in front of me, but very clear in the replay there, and we are moving up into the top 5 positions. That left me with a 5-second gap though to position number 4, and realistically I was not going to be able to get up towards that. So it was just a case of trying to put in some really good laps here. Car number 9 is directly behind within a second, so he's putting some pressure on, and we cannot be making any mistakes here in the second half of this race if we want to hold on to this top 5 position. Coming through turn number 9 and towards turn number 10, and unfortunately I'm going to make the exact same mistake as that number 4 Porsche did, but with a bit more of a consequence here, spinning right to the inside of the circuit and find myself right out there towards the wall, easing back onto the track here, giving car number 5 space on the rejoin, and fortunately we've not picked up any damage from that, although my confidence has well and truly been shaken. Now, as you can see here on the replay, massive airtime as we launch over that curb, and we are fortunate there's enough runoff area there to not pick up any damage. So back to 8th position, and a little bit annoyed at that mistake, giving away that decent finishing spot. Charging down to turn number 2 on lap number 12, we have another mistake moment here from car number 4, finding him turned around there in the middle of turn 2, avoiding damage, going around the outside, and that elevates us back up to our starting P7 position. Now, with only a few laps of this race still to go, I found myself enjoying for the first time really in these GT3s a nice chance to do some consistent race run. In my first iRacing GT3 races at the Red Bull Ring, the grids were so closely stacked that for most part we were constantly battling other cars, learning a lot of good racecraft, but not really getting any free track space to practice some of the race consistency and race pace. And this was really the first chance that I had to kind of do that in these GT3 cars. So I was already starting to see some of the benefits of doing these regional races with less cars on the grid, a more spread out iRacing where I can still have some good race battles, still fight for some good positions, but have a slightly more relaxed approach with a few less cars densely collected around me. You see, coming around to finish this final lap, and we had set a 21.5 in this race, coming across to finish in that P7 position. As I said, a bit annoyed to not get that P5, but what will race number 2 bring us? So race number 2, we're again in split 1, starting out of position number 7 in a 17 car field. Now, a good opportunity here to try and pick up some more iRating and more safety rating. We missed the jump away a little bit on this lap, and on the outside I have got the green number 15 Porsche, but again we've got the nice inside line here for the turn 2 hairpin. Going to run nice and tight there. Porsche is unable to hang it around the outside, and we're nice and clear at the start of this race. Now, I had good confidence from the previous race, and I was quite keen to see if I could keep up with these leaders a little bit at the start of the second lap. Unfortunately, that confidence was going to be sapped away here. We pitched the car into a bit of a slide, being a bit too aggressive on the brakes and the turn in at turn number 4, and the car lets go, unable to catch it. And for the second GT3 race video in a row, we show the car backing into the wall with big rear end damage. A pretty terrible look, unfortunately, and we're learning lessons the hard way of this GT3 tyre model. Now, we do get the car repaired and get back out on track. It's always worth finishing up these races, trying to gain a bit more safety rating, and you see there are a couple of cars in the pit lane, so we do gain back some positions before the checkered flag flies. However, another big drop in iRacing as a result, and that is going to lead us into the last race to show you here at Laguna Seca, race number 3. However, with the iRacing drop, it did give us an opportunity to produce a strong result here at Laguna Seca. We have found ourselves as door card number 1 of split 2, and I was fully convinced that I was going to be able to make a good effort of this race. However, it didn't start the way I'd hoped, picking up a track cut on our fast qualifying lap, missing out on a front row start as a result, but fortunately we were able to start this race from position number 4. Should have been a low 1 minute 22 second lap, and as I said, we would have been on the front row there, the pole position, Alex in his McLaren at a 1:22.0. So I was quite nervous at the start of this race because I was quite keen to produce a top result here, and I really needed to try get to the front of this race as quickly as possible. We get the green light and we are underway on the outside this time, heading down to the opening hairpin, and we're going to try do our very best to hold it around the outside here at this double apex corner. We are there side by side, but the Porsche slams the door shut on me on corner exit, and we are now fighting with another Porsche here through turn 3 who is unable to hold it around the outside on cold tyres. So we do hold on to position number 4, but unfortunately not the start that I was hoping for in this race. Coming in to start lap number 2, and we are still in touch here after the opening lap. Having not gained any positions through the opening corners, I was now a bit of focus to get through these next few laps, get the tyres warmed up and get that confidence back at this circuit. Obviously what happened at the start of the second race was really throwing my confidence here on laps 2 and 3, so it was just a case of getting through these next few laps and getting the car up to temperature. Now in front, the Porsche dies up the inside of the P2 McLaren, claiming that second spot, and as we come through turn 4 here, we have to be very cautious. A very slow McLaren there as he checks up to get through turn 4, Again, I had a bit of a run here, but I was a bit cautious with the cold tyres. Turn 5's another corner you can easily lose the rear of the car. And I wanted to stay in touch in this race, wanted to make sure that I was in the fight for the entire distance. Through turn number 6 now, heading up towards the hill, and the McLaren, he's starting to push hard already as we come up towards the corkscrew here. Obviously a little bit disappointed to lose out that spot so early on, and he's immediately pushing to try and claim that spot back. Now down the hill through turn number 9, the Porsche a little bit tricky there on the cold tyres, runs a bit wide. McLaren's having a look down the inside. As we come up to the final turn, he's going to dive down the inside here. No contact made, doesn't quite stick the nose in far enough. Pretty poor exit from everyone here, and the leader already 3 seconds up the road. So I'm starting to get cautious of the fact that the leader of this race, the opportunity to win this race, may already be slipping away. Down into turn 2 on lap number 3, and a bit of a wiggle there from the Porsche as he tries to get to that second apex. The McLaren slips up the inside. I'm on the outside for turn 3, a bit of a nose in front. We hang it around the outside there as we come back onto the track a little bit. A bit of awkward contact there with the Porsche. Again, not quite enough racing room there, and fortunately it doesn't result in any of us off track. Now pushing hard down towards turn number 5. For almost 5 seconds there to the leader, so at this point it's a bit of a do or die for me. Really need to get by this Porsche. Not really sure exactly how we're going to do it. Coming up to turn number 6, and I get a really good exit through turn 6 here. A really good run on the Porsche up the hill, and we're going to have the inside line here for the corkscrew. Hard on the brakes, get down to the apex, and it's a nice clean move. So we do move up into position number 3, and straight away we are on the hunt for this P2 position McLaren. Pushing ahead now to just under 12 minutes left in this race, coming up towards the end of lap number 6, and we have had a few good laps now under our belt. We've currently set the purple sector time, but it has been eclipsed by the leader, a 1 minute 21.6 now, the fastest lap of the race. But we're here right on the back bumper of the P2 McLaren, and again we're looking to try and get by as quick as we can now. The leader has extended his lead a tiny bit to 5.8 seconds, so I was really keen to try and get by this McLaren and make pursuit here in the back half of this race. However, it wasn't going to be particularly easy. There is definitely some extra pace in my car, but this McLaren was doing a good job driving his race, and he wasn't giving me too many opportunities to get by. See now at the end of lap number 9, we haven't been able to make the move to happen coming into the final corner here. Now the McLaren, he outbrakes himself a little bit, and I have a really good exit out of the final corner here. Immediately up the inside, drag race now down the start finish line as we start lap number 10, and we're going to have a really good advantage here into turn number 2, and fortunately get this move done nicely. Getting that second apex there, a good exit. So with 7 minutes and 15 seconds to go, we finally get ourselves up to position number 2, 4.8 seconds to the leader. Will we be able to mount a comeback here? Well, it's going to have to be a phenomenally good few laps for me. Here we are at the start of lap number 12, and this will be the fastest lap that I have set at Laguna Seca Raceway. Let's take you on board. The previous lap was the fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 21.49, and I was starting to really get that confidence in this car with the tyres, everything warmed up. I was in a good groove, and we're down to 3.7 seconds to the leader. So I had been making a little bit of inroad through turn 5, trying to get the corner apex after that red bollard. Hard on the accelerator up the hill here, getting through turn 6 really nicely on the power before the apex. 3.5 tenths up as we come towards the corkscrew. Now getting over this curb a little bit, braking hard, second gear, flicking it back, hard on the power down the hill. And then a really aggressive line through turn 9 here, bit of brake just to get it turned towards the apex there, run it wide, and now cautious here at turn 10, don't want to hit that red bollard again, out the other side and into the final corner here, hard on the brakes, trying to get again a late apex, losing a little bit of time on the exit here, but a really good lap from me, 4.5 tenths up on my best laps so far, and 1 minute 21.062, fastest lap of the race, and the time to the leader now under 3 seconds. The next few laps also went very well for me. Low minute 1 minute 21 second laps, 21.2, 21.3, and here as we get towards the final lap of the race, the leader is getting in sight, almost in touching distance here as we come through the final corner to start the final lap of the race, and we are there 1.4 seconds now to that McLaren who's been leading the whole race, and over 10 seconds now to the third place McLaren behind. Can we mount an almighty comeback in this final lap? We're going to push, we're going to do what we can here and see what is possible. Already looking good through this opening sector, on about the best time so far through turns 3, now up to turn 4, and we get that margin under a second now for the first time in this race. Up towards turn number 5, again pushing here, trying to apex a little bit past that red bollard there. Out the other side, 0.6 of a second now as we come to this critical turn 6. Trying to push through here as hard as we dare. Now up the hill, and we're making inroads. Can we get an opportunity here into the final sector? Hard on the brakes into the corkscrew here. See the McLaren is running very narrow to the apex there. Big sweeping line. I sort of show the nose a little bit here just to get in his mirrors a little bit. 0.4 of a second through turn 9 and this crucial turn 10. Not quite getting it too good for myself. He gets a much better run down to the final corner now. Will there be a mistake? Well, the mistake partly comes from me. We run a little bit deep in the final corner and just don't quite get close enough to get a bit of an opportunity there, but really happy with that final part of the race. Really good string of fast laps from me, and to get so close, it was a really good race overall. Congratulations to Alex and his McLaren. Definitely did enough to win that one, and overall a really fun time here in these regional GT3 races. But the question is, are these races any good for the iRacing service? Well, let's dive into some opinion right now. So those are the races. Now, what are my key takeaways? Well, first off, we have to talk about player numbers. My week 1 experiences of the GT3s have shown that the regional tours are not taking a significant number of players away from the main series. At the same time, there are enough players doing these regional races to have a viable race option at any time during the week. For context, these races at Laguna Seca were during the midweek in the midday time slots, and there was still enough players to have multiple splits and have enough good racing to justify jumping on and giving these races a go. A positive thing in my opinion, and that leads us on to point number 2, which is track selection. The fact that we now have 3 regional tours to go by, we now have 3 more track options every week for GT3 players. Now again, we aren't seeing that big exit in player base, and it'll be interesting to see if there is a week where one of these regional tours has a more preferable track option. But having 3 other tracks as someone who is new to GT3s and wants to practice lots gives me more options to learn circuits and have a go in these cars at different tracks. While I will still give lots more practice time focused on the main series, being able to jump into some of these regional races, know I can get a decent race and get some practice done is going to be very beneficial for me at least. And my third opinion on this will really have to do with how these races feel to race. Because of the lower player numbers and the iRacing being a bit more stretched out, I do feel that these are a bit more relaxing to compete in versus the very tightly contested main series events. I spoke about it a bit during the races, but having a bit more space around me to practice some of the racing techniques that I need to be competitive, rather than being fully in battle every single corner of every single lap, was certainly a nice experience. It goes back to that practice that I'm trying to get in these GT3 cars. It's a different type of practice in a different type of race scenario. For me, it's a very beneficial thing, and it was really nice to jump in, do a bunch of midday races, gain this experience here, and I think doing that alongside the main series and the intensity of that should hopefully round me out a bit better and really get me up to speed with these GT3s a little bit faster. So plenty of benefits with these regional tours. It'll be interesting to see week to week how these things change a little bit, particularly with some of the popular tracks that I know these regional tours will go to eventually. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about these regional races? And ultimately, do you think this is a positive or negative introduction for the GT3 classes on iRacing? Would absolutely love to know your comments down below. If you enjoyed those races and you want to see more and you're not subscribed, please hit the button below, hit the thumbs up if you like this video in any way, and I look forward to bringing you some more iRacing videos very, very soon. Race hard, stay positive. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.